Tom and Jack for Cultaholic. I had a lovely chat last night, Jack. I am one to name drop. I had a lovely chat with Nita Strauss from the Alice Cooper Band.
That's the Mrs. Baby, isn't it? I made a mistake once, right? Where someone said, "Oh, Monroe Sky," and I went, "Is that the opening band for NXT?" And they went, "No." And it was a genuine mistake. But no, Nita Strauss, a very talented woman. How was she?
She was absolutely lovely. Lastminute.com got the call pretty much to do TakeOver. So they piled into a hotel room and they brought their pets with them because they couldn't get pet sitters in order to. But hey, look, why should I tell you all this when you can find out later on the podcast feed what Nita's up to, plus what 3 wrestling matches she'd watched while stranded on a desert island. That's what we do. I take advantage of people with time in their hotel rooms to kill to ask them what 3 wrestling matches they'd watch while stranded.
Got so serious. That's what we do.
It's what we do. Anyway, we also do wrestling news. Scrapped plans for WrestleMania 37 have been revealed. We have the shocking reason behind Chris Jericho's WWE departure. And will we see Demon Finn Balor at NXT TakeOver? Find out in a bit. WrestleMania, mere hours away. Got some details of some scrapped plans for the granddaddy of them all. What's going on, Jack?
Yeah, this is according to WrestleVote, who tweeted out, and it's to do with the tag team turmoil match, because of course on night 1 we've got several teams in a tag team turmoil match, and then the winner of that will go on to night 2 to face Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax for the women's tag team titles. It all makes sense, but apparently the original plan was in fact to have the annual women's battle royal, and then the final 2 would be like winners of the battle royal and would go through as a tag team, regardless of whether they're friendly with each other or not, Tom. It's chaos to night 2 to face Shayna and Nia. It's much like, if you've seen WrestleMania 15, I believe, it's much like the Battle Royal that took place there and led to a tag title match later on in the show.
Yeah, so I remember that. I remember watching that live. Sunday Night Heat. It was Test and D'Lo Brown that won the Battle Royal. They were fighting as they were announced as winners, and then they had to try and get along in the main event on the main show. And whilst the idea of tag team partners that don't get along is a trope so tired that it's frayed at the edges in 2021, I think you missed a trick in not doing this.
Maybe.
Because there's one instance that you could have had this battle royal and made something really wholesome and wonderful, and this could have been a way of reuniting the Iconics.
Oh, I like that, Tom. That would have been very good.
How good would that have been to have Peyton Royce and Billie Kay win the battle royal and go, we get a shot at the tag titles? You've got to be joking me. and have them like, okay, we've got to team up, and if we can't win the tag titles, then we're done again. Have them win it. I
like that. That would have instantly been an emotional story as well, and that adds a lot of drama and tension to the women's tag title match on night 2. My question is, and I really like that, but my question is, does this mean now that there is no women's battle royal this year? Is there no room?
It doesn't seem like there is a women's battle royal. If they're going to do anything else they will do, they're going to do it on SmackDown this Friday.
And that's when the Andre battle, that's when the men's battle royal is happening. And what was the other match? The SmackDown tag team title match.
The tag team title 4-way. That's happening on a SmackDown WrestleMania as well.
SmackDown's like the pre-show now to WrestleMania this year.
It is, isn't it? It's before pre-drinks. This is a cup of tea with your nan before you go out pre-drinking. Yeah. That's what SmackDown has become. Speaking of WrestleMania, what arguably, for a lot of people, the true main event of WrestleMania week is Steve Austin and Chris Jericho doing Broken Skull sessions, which
that's
is
going to be fascinating.
Yeah, there's trust Steve Austin to kick the forbidden door down.
I mean, and I don't want to say anything too. This isn't in a mean-spirited way at all. Sometimes old people just forget things. Did Vince forget that Chris Jericho was with AEW? I'm just saying.
Because you had Austin in a news video. You guys talked about this, and you said that Austin asked him twice. Are you sure?
Are you sure we're gonna have Jericho on? Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. We like Chris Jericho. Oh, okay, that's fine. But it's a thing, and it's happening. And Jericho was having a chat with Inside the Ropes and gave us some insight into why he left the company in the first place. And the details are, again, it's to do with Vince McMahon and Chris Jericho having communication issues. So what's the story here, Jack?
Well, he was talking about WrestleMania 33, which of course was main evented by Undertaker and Roman Reigns. But another match on that card was Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens, I believe for the United States Championship. But the biggest story wasn't about the belt, it was about the Festival of Friendship and the betrayal and all that between Jericho and Owens. So Jericho said on Inside the Ropes, "There's no bitterness when I tell this story or no anger. It's just the way it is. I've been working in this business for a long time." You mentioned Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, and we had the best story on the show for months. One of the original plans from Vince's mouth to my ears directly was that the main event of WrestleMania was going to be Jericho versus Owens for the world title, and Jericho wins the title for the first time ever as a babyface. I'd never been a babyface world champion ever. Weird to think of it, right? 7 times champion as a heel. Next week, the plans changed, which Vince did not tell me. Goldberg versus Brock for the title, because that's what they wanted to do, and that's fine. Maybe from a marquee standpoint, that might have been a bigger money match, but from a story standpoint, ours was worth more. But the difference was, we went from the main event to being put on second, and that's an insult, because the second match is just another match.
Yeah, this led to, as Jericho would explain in the interview, making him realise, you know what, whatever I do for the company, it don't matter. I'm away, and it led to a chain of events that led to Chris Jericho joining AEW. I think that would have been, whilst that would have been a killer main event to have Jericho and Owens for the title, unfortunately WrestleMania by this point, by WrestleMania even 33, has become less about culminations of those big stories, and it's all just about putting on those big marquee matches,
right?
You know, and that's kind of what Mania is nowadays. I think we still get swept up in the idea that WrestleMania is the end of these big story arcs, like it was back in my day, but it's not anymore. It's sort of, and I used this quite a lot last year. It's like the Edinburgh Fringe Festival of wrestling, where like everybody comes, like descends upon wherever WrestleMania is for the whole week, and you'll get some big names on like the main stage and all this stuff, and doesn't always have to make a lot of sense to do so. I think the pandemic made people think about it slightly differently, but I think that's kind of what we'll see it go back to, and it doesn't surprise me that Jericho and Owens didn't headline as much as I would have liked it to have done.
And let's not forget as well, that was the match that Vince infamously shunned Kevin Owens for backstage in that 24 documentary, when Owens goes backstage and says, "Are we all right?" and Vince goes, "No." As if the match was like the worst match ever. The match was absolutely fine. I was there live. The match was sound. It was okay. So I don't really understand. That whole situation is quite a weird one.
A very peculiar one, but it is what it is. It's the weirdness and the magic and the wonder of WrestleMania once again. Even AEW is picking up a little bit of action during WrestleMania week. Not only are they having their first ever house show, which is a genius idea, whilst there are wrestling fans looking for a wrestling show to go to.
Scooping up the scraps in Tampa, Tom.
Scalping up them scraps of Tampa. Come on down. But they're loading up their AEW Dynamite show up against TakeOver Night 1 tonight, and they've leaned into the drawing power of Iron Mike Tyson for this. This was announced late yesterday that Iron Mike is going to be part of AEW Dynamite tonight. Tony Khan took to Sports Illustrated and said, "There are many reasons I wanted Mike to come back. He made a huge impact last year at Double or Nothing, and we're at a point where we can bring him back in front of our fans. The fans who have come to see shows in Jacksonville have added so much to AEW, and it's important for me that our fans get to see him live. We're excited to have Mike back." What's Mike gonna do tonight, Jack, brother?
Well, I don't know, because I had to rack my brains to think what Mike did last time, and I remembered it was the Jericho confrontation, they got in each other's face, but he didn't really do anything of great consequence, did he? And now Jericho's kind of a babyface. He's certainly not the leader of the big heel stable anymore. Now that's the pinnacle. So I don't really know what Mike Tyson's going to do. Possibly a confrontation with MJF. You see what my brain's done there.
I see. I can see where we've gone there. You say he didn't do anything of consequence. Didn't he fall asleep during the TNT title match?
Oh, yes, of course. No, I remember being a bit more pleased that, because I thought afterwards he reacted with the right amount of emotion, potentially. But the confrontation was a little bit strange. And there was randomly also quite a prominent quite a big name in UFC history in there with him who barely got a mention. Who was it again? Was it... Oh, who was it? I can't remember.
It was so popular, I forgot. Tell us in the comments.
No, they're going to say I'm not cool, Tom. They're going to say I'm not cool, and I do know about fighting.
Okay, well, in that case, we will wait here. We'll wait here until you remember it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We can carry on.
No, we're going to wait here until you remember it.
No, we can carry on. Brazilian UFC fighter.
He's definitely remembering it.
Bisping eye. Vitor Belfort. Ah! Thank you, Owen. I got a message in my ear. I can't be... Yeah,
the voice of the heavens just said Vitor Belfort.
Vitor Belfort.
That's it. Just all you have to do is remember 4 bells going forward.
Yeah.
That's how you remember his name. Always have a system. Always have a system. Looking to TakeOver, which is starting tonight. Nita Strauss will be playing the national anthem. She's my guest on the Cultaholic podcast feed, as we said earlier on. Just giving that a secondary plug, if you will. Finn Balor is main event in night 2 against Karrion Kross, and he was talking to ITNWWE.com about his demon character, because a lot of people are keen to see him back as the demon. What did he say, Jack?
He said, for me, in this moment of my career, I feel like the demon would be a step back. I feel like right now with my ring work as the prince, I feel very comfortable, I feel very controlled, and I feel that's the direction I have to go at TakeOver. So I don't let anyone down. In the moments, there's going to be no demon, but there's going to be the very dark side of the prince that is going to meticulously take apart Karrion Kross. And this is featured in the build-up to the match as well, hasn't it? Because in the story, he's been saying, I'm going to win because I've learned to control my demons, with a deliberate use of that word, whereas you fight with anger and rage, Karrion Kross, and that's going to be your undoing. Tom, I don't think it's going to be his undoing. I think he's going to batter Finn Balor.
I can see this being the end of Balor's reign as champion at this point, I'm afraid.
Finn should make the effort and get painted up backstage, because that's the only way he's going to beat Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross is a scary man.
He's Cross. He's Karrion Kross. He's Cross. He's Karrion Kross. He's Cross. He's Karrion Kross. He's Cross. Banger by Andrew. Banger.
I didn't know Andrew had such immaculate flow as a rapper. I'm Karrion Kross.
I'm Cross. I'm Karrion. I swear to God, I'm stupidly busy today, and I'm devastated that I don't have time to put together the dance remix of I'm Cross, I'm Karrion Kross, I'm Cross. Because I swear to God, if I had this much free time today, I'd be dropping it on SoundCloud later and scooping all the royalties.
Oh, 100%.
Right, more news later on. Check out 9 pitches for WrestleMania on the YouTube channel right now. Some wonderful nonsense in there from the lads. What's your favourite pitch on that 9 pitches?
My favourite pitch is, I think, Andrew's last one, but I'm not going to spoil it.
Oh, there you go. Go watch it right now after this. We're Cross. We're Karrion Kross.
We're Cross. Oh. I'll stop there.
Love you, bye.